What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Dreamloud Podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Covenant Eyes, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the episode, but very excited to have my good friend Tyler Piatt on the episode today. Tyler is a resident at the church that I work at, and he's become a very close friend of mine in the past few months, and I think this is probably one of my favorite episodes so far, and no disrespect to any of my past guests or episodes, but this is probably the most comfortable I've been on a podcast thus far. For those of you who don't know, I started a little less than a year ago with podcasting, and it's just something I'm trying to get better at. But enough about the goofy self-improvement stuff that I'm working on. Let's jump into the episode. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dreamloud Podcast. Today's guest is Tyler Piatt.
Heyo.
And it's Piatt.
Yeah.
Like a
pizza,
you would pie.
You would pie it. Most people get it wrong. Almost everyone gets it wrong.
Pie it. I got it. I'm so happy to have you here. I've known you since my time at Grace. I think the first time I officially met you was whenever we filmed Hosting. Do you remember that?
I can't tell you the first time we met. So
I remember our friendship better than you do.
Okay.
And yeah, I filmed you that day at Hosting, and then I after a couple months, me and a couple friends started going to breakfast, and I invited you, or Josh invited you, or something, and now we've become pals.
Frenzies.
We hang out. I hang out with you more than I really hang out with anybody else, except my wife, because I am with her every day.
I mean, I guess I'll take the second place, but that's fine.
I mean, sorry about it, but yeah, man, I'm so happy to have you on here. How this kind of will look is, I'm going to ask you a little bit about yourself. We'll kind of talk about some things that, some different things in your life, your come to Jesus story, if you will. And yeah, just conversation, man. It's going to be fun. So,
cool.
For the people that don't know you, introduce yourself, and I'll ask some questions along the way.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, act more awkward, could you?
Okay, so if you'd like to know me,
peeking so bad on the microphone.
My whole life. I peaked in the fourth grade, so it's fine.
Pull that microphone away from your mouth just a little bit. Probably.
Just pull it away. Okay. Yeah. So as you said, I don't need to repeat my name because everyone already knows it. No.
Do it.
My name is Tyler Piatt. That's my name.
That's my name.
If you can go this whole way with repeating it, that's awesome.
I'm not doing that. I'm already annoying enough. I'm not going to be more annoying.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, so I born and raised in Dayton, and that was pretty much my whole life till I was 18.
All right, and thank you for watching the Dreamloud Podcast.
That happened, and then oh my gosh, I got a little snotzies going on already.
That's cute.
Yeah,
great way
isn't
to start. He is single, ladies and gentlemen.
You like that? Grew up in a fairly Christian home. My parents, I would say, weren't saved until I was in elementary school. So that I had a really early coming to Jesus moment in my life. But I became a pastor's kid when I was probably 14. So I didn't live the PK life that most people would live, but it definitely came on strong when I was a middle schooler. And I immediately felt like I was in a fishbowl. So that was a big thing for me, a big change. And I pretty much just played the acting game, where if I could look one way at this place and look one way at that place, and that was totally fine with me as long as everyone liked me. That was my only prerogative. So
Dude, that was me big time.
Yeah, that was it.
I mean, I grew up in church, but probably more so when I was in like high school or youth group. I would like say cuss words and stuff when I was in like the 5th grade, like to think I was cool. I remember the first time.
Well, you're so cool. So
yeah, I know. Thank you. I remember the first time I like cussed in front of like people out loud, other than like just in my mind. I would cuss in my mind, which is not weird at all.
You felt the power.
And I cussed out loud in front of people, and I was like, unlimited power, the Star Wars reference.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I totally get that, man. Living one way and
Yeah.
Living one way and living another way.
So now we all know that cussing is the exact same thing as having the Force. So that's good.
That's true. That's the whole reason I started this podcast, is to show the similarities of my life in Star Wars, because I like Star Wars kind of. So
great.
Yeah.
So anyway, I honestly just didn't give a crap about Jesus until probably later into my freshman year of college.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I knew acting wasn't going to take it anywhere, and wouldn't take my life anywhere that I wanted it. So, if I want to share my come to Jesus moment, I guess I can. But
God bless you for doing that. Go on.
Hey, thank you. I was just at a spot where I hated everything. I hated my major. I hated where I was at. I hated being 8 hours away from home. And I didn't really have a ton of friends. And side note, I had moved out of my house like 2 weeks before I graduated high school, and that had nothing to do with my family. I had a great family.
Yeah.
But I was just mega independent, and so I thought I could be mega independent when I went to Liberty in Virginia. So I got my own apartment, and that was a terrible idea. So zero community, zero way to build community, and the girl I was dating at the time broke up with me 3 weeks in, and I was all alone. So oof. There was no other thing around that I was like, yeah, I can just get satisfaction from this and not take a look at my own life. And so I ended up moving on to campus that next semester, and that is when my life pretty much exploded for the better, and began to really pursue Jesus and what.
And you studied what at Liberty?
I came into it studying psychology and had a year and a half of it, and switched majors to biblical studies and lost everything. So I started over. It was just a great experience. My undergrad was in biblical studies. So
dang, that's cool. So that you graduated college how long ago? I don't know.
My master's, my undergrad. My undergrad was.
Wait, you have your master's?
Yeah.
Bro, you're so freaking smart.
Thank you.
You're so smarter than I'll
yeah.
ever be. Yeah. Dude, that's dope.
Yeah. I graduated from my master's a year and a half, 2 years ago. It's probably a year and a half ago.
And you did all your schooling at Liberty?
Yeah. So my master's I did mostly online, but my undergrad was at Liberty as well. Yeah.
So from there to now, you're a resident at Grace, where I work.
Yep.
Yeet. I mean, are you gonna talk about it at
nope,
all?
That's all. That's all you get to know.
Yeah, he's a resident.
No, I love it. I love the residency at Grace. There was another part of me that once I graduated from my master's, I moved back home for a hot second, which as a person in their mid to late 20s is the worst thing that's ever happened to them. Because I love my parents, I just don't love seeing them more than 6 hours at a time. So being in that spot sucked because I felt like a loser. And I was trying everything I could to get out of it, and just nothing was working. So I was working at a coffee shop, trying to get a job in a church because I had done a ton of jobs working around or outside or with, but never in a church, and nothing was working. And it was frustrating because I was either too qualified to take a residency at a church, or I was too underqualified to take a larger position at a church. So I just felt stuck. And there was no way I could work for a church for $10,000 a year and 7 hours a week. I just couldn't do it. So I was like, I don't know what to do. And so I literally stumbled upon Grace. Was just searching through websites, and they had a campus pastor position open, which I wasn't going to apply for, but that just made me click on Grace in general. And I just started watching stuff. I started listening to Keith all the time. I started coming up to each campus every week, and I started bugging anyone on staff that would listen to me. Went out to eat with a couple of them and became mega interested in Grace. And one thing led to another, landed there, and it's probably one of the best opportunities in my life I've had so far. So,
awesome.
Yeah, you don't hear a lot about people who have zero connections to something and it works out. So it was really cool. Huge blessing from God.
Yeah,
so.
Grace is a great place to work, man. I've always wanted to work at a church, but I never knew what that looked like. At the church I came from in Cincinnati, I mean, I was high capacity volunteer.
Yeah.
I worked on the photography team. I worked in production. I was in the band. I did a lot of other things through all those veins, but I didn't know what it looked like. I knew I wanted to work at a church, but
and it looks different too.
Yeah.
It looks different depending on what church and what you want to do.
But I mean, I'm grateful that this is going to sound dumb, but like, I'm grateful that I never got a job at a church. Like, or I'm glad I didn't get a job at that church because, you know, I wouldn't be where I am now. And, I mean, even my marriage, you know, so. And Grace is a great place to work. I mean, it's a big church overall because it's Grace Fellowship Columbus, but
yeah.
I feel like each campus in its own way feels independent if you work at one of those campuses specifically.
Yeah.
Like I work in weekend services and communication, so what I do reflects all the campuses. But there's other people like Josh who in his residency, Josh was on the last episode, and through his residency, he's specifically working at the UA campus.
Yeah.
And it impacts just what goes on there. So, and each campus has a campus pastor. I do feel like, you know, Grace as a whole, it feels big. But if you don't know that the Jefferson campus is connected to the Pickerington campus, if you look at it as its own independent thing, it does feel like a smaller church.
Yeah. No, and it does. Like you can talk to people at Jefferson who only know people at Jefferson, not really understanding who goes to Pickerington at all.
Yeah.
Like that's totally how it is.
Yeah. And it's a bigger church, but it doesn't feel like a mega church.
No, I think we do it on purpose.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely things that still feels like there's a lot of home to it. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. And it's really easy to gain community at Grace, I feel like.
Yeah. I would say the bigger the church, the harder it is to just fall into community. But if you're looking for community, you can definitely find it.
Sure.
I think we've done a great job of setting up connection points for people to get plugged in wherever they want to get plugged in.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
I mean, I've shared with you and like all of our friends in our friend group before, but like my biggest fear moving to Columbus from Cincinnati was, am I going to be able to gain the community?
Yeah. Getting a new one,
you know,
and
luckily, you know, my friend, like I hung out with a ton of my friends in Cincinnati last week, and like I drove down, stayed the night in Cincinnati, and I got to hang out with my people. And it's not like I left them behind or anything like that. It's that was a phase of my life that I'm no longer in, but I still can connect with those people.
Right.
But B, I've gained a community. It's not in place of, but I gained a community at Grace.
Yeah.
A community of, you know, of brothers like you and Josh and Isaac and Isaiah, like all of our friends in our friends group. You know, it's you guys. We've gained like a brotherhood that, not that I didn't have at Rivers Crossing, but it's just a different type of friendship.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it developed really quick too.
Yeah. Like
and
me and you,
yeah.
We went from meeting months ago to, you know, you coming to breakfast, and now, I mean, 5 times a week I see you either at church or working out.
Yeah,
or
I mean, it's huge.
Or just goofing out.
Yeah. Just goofing out.
Just goofing out
at the gym. We
just
didn't touch
goofing
a
out.
single weight. Yeah, that's great.
Not at the gym, just goofing out.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Yeah. The attraction piece, I think, is the depth. At least it was for me. Like,
Yeah.
I drew into all these people.
Like, you're
so
very
quickly.
attracted to me.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what you're saying.
Well, just because of the depth.
It's,
nothing
and
to
the
do with
hole
it.
in the knee of my pants is very attractive.
That it's been bugging me the whole time. I
I'm sorry. Dude,
What'd you do? You playing dodgeball in a gym?
No, I thought I put on my other pants and I didn't. Actually, I don't know if there's a picture of me doing it, but I was wearing these pants downtown in Cincinnati, taking photos with my friend Keith, who's a well-known tattoo artist. And I was teaching him a few things about photography, and I got down on my knees to like get this picture, and I scraped them, and the hole has grown bigger and bigger. And,
Your poor knee.
But I got a new pair of these for Christmas, and I thought I put them on, and guess what?
You didn't.
I didn't.
You didn't do it.
So that's cool, man. Yeah, I mean, I've really enjoyed, you know, the amount of time that I've known you. So it's time to say goodbye, I guess is what I'm saying. So, you know.
Well, that was fun.
No, I you know, you've become one of my closest friends, and you know, yeah, it's just great.
Yeah. Friendship forever.
We just
That's
had,
all you ever
we
gonna
just
get,
had a
so.
moment.
Yeah,
we
that
just
was
had
it.
a bromance, if you will.
Oh.
Yeah. So what else? Like, what else makes Tyler Tyler?
Yeah.
Besides the
dude,
things you've shared off.
I could tell you 1,000 things.
Well,
I think
we've got
really, yeah.
We've got 45 minutes to go. So.
Okay. Well, sweet. I think one of the biggest things that has made me who I am is my experiences in and around and outside of college. So one of the things I did once I started going to Liberty is I really never touched home again until a year and a half ago, before I had found my job at Grace. And so I was never home for longer than, and by home I mean in Dayton around family and friends I grew up with, for longer than a week at a time, or a week and a half or 2 weeks. But I was just constantly doing something else. So even when it was you're out of school and you're undergrad, I was taking another job in Michigan doing ministry stuff up there, and or I was down somewhere else, but I just never came back. And it made it weird because I had this longing for home, but no place was ever home again. And it was really cool to, like, there's this part of me that's so excited and filled.
I'm so excited and feel.
I felt so blessed to have all the experiences I have when I started working for the North American Mission Board, because I was just constantly moving around and seeing different churches and seeing different people and seeing different cultures and the ways that the gospel interacts with people that think differently than you, in different contexts, from wealthy to poor, and age group differences. And I mean, it just changed who I was and how I thought. And but it also, like, had some wounds that came out just because of that's the way that it was. So I just always felt like a loner. I always felt like no one understood me. I always felt like I couldn't attach to people because I was just going to have to detach again, because that was my lifestyle of just going to a different church and going to a different state and going to a different place. And it was really hard to build community. And so it was difficult, but at the same time, I got to experience so many things that probably no one ever will. So that is probably a huge part of what creates my independence, my, like, understanding of probably a lot of different people and what that looks like for them to understand the gospel differently than me and be okay with that and actually interact with that. And honestly, not criticize the church, but I think interact with churches in a way where, and not a arrogant way at all, but to say, I've, like, seen a couple ways and I know this won't work, or, hey, let's try this out. Like, I think this could work. I just think it's so common for people who never have left the place that they grew up in to never even realize that there are different ways that, like, churches can be run, or there are different ways that structures and people and life is.
For sure. I mean, you look at the people that, you know, that have gone to the church for the same, if you were to have a Star Wars title, what would it be? Isaac just texted me and it's up on the screen there. So sorry for that distraction. I have very severe ADD.
That's a very unique question. That's a sweet question.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, I'll answer that later. Bro, that threw me off big time. We were
talking about how churches are different if you ever grew up there. Yeah.
So, like, you look at these churches of people who have gone to the same church for 25 years and they just, like, don't want change, and then you see, like, a new pastor come in and, like, want to change things, and people either leave the church or, like, go and constantly complain. Like, I have family members that have been that and have realized, like, oh no, change is important. Like, I mean, sorry, I keep getting distracted. Go away.
He's asking such good questions.
I should have put my do not disturb on my phone. I know why he's asking me this, but he bought this, like, wood cart.
Oh, he's gonna. Bro,
I should just call this podcast, like, ADD or something like that, because my brain works all over the place.
Flying.
Anyway, I think he's making me a flag as a gift, and like a friendship gift, and not for my birthday or anything. And that's why he's asking. Back to the original thought. People go to the churches for a long time, and man, I hope that people think the same way I do and just don't think that I'm just crazy. And people go to these churches for the longest time and are just stuck in their ways and, like, dig their feet into the ground and aren't adapt to change. I mean, the church that you go to, not you, but the Karen that I'm talking to.
Of course it's Karen.
Yeah, it has to be. The church that they go to, I mean, that is not the same way that the original church did things.
Sure.
I mean, one of the most original, like churches, I guess you could say, is like Greek Orthodox. Like they're very traditional in their ways. I've been to Greek Orthodox churches. I'm sorry to my aunt and uncle if you're listening to this, because they go to Greek Orthodox church, but like I like want to fall asleep because it's just not what I'm used to, you know?
Yeah.
And if Grace one day said, all right, we're going to start operating our service like the way a Greek Orthodox church does, I don't know how much longer I'd be at Grace, because like I'm used to the way that Grace does their experience. Like that's the way that church has been for me through my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, I totally get it. You know, not wanting to change and go through all those life experiences. It's also crazy. You know, you gave the example of like rich, the poor, and all of the people that you come across. And it's like, no matter how much money you make, we all crap in the same toilet. I said all that to say that.
I don't know what single toilet everyone's using, but I guess that metaphor works. Yeah.
We all crap the same way in the toilet.
In the toilet, sure. That's a way better one than we all have been using the same toilet.
Yes, yeah. We have not all been using one collective toilet.
No.
But yeah, it's crazy. And like when I was selling cars at Jaguar Land Rover, I mean, people would come in and just think that their crap didn't stink. Like people, like obviously like millionaires, like Reds players, FC Cincinnati players, the CEO of Honey Baked Ham. Like
everybody knows that guy.
Yeah. I mean, you know, he came in and like talked to me about buying a car. Like, but the way that they walk in, you know, king of the castle, you know, but it's like, just because you have money, I guess, you know, money's the root of all evil, and people think that just because they have money, they have power, and poop on them, you know?
Yeah. I think in one way thinking of it is it completely changed my heart of how I see people. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you an example. Living in Portland, church just doesn't look anything like church in the Midwest, how it does in Portland. People that I came across, most of them didn't know that you had church every week. Like, they were like, oh, I thought you only went like once a month or twice a month. They're like, no, it's every Sunday we have church, and you can come. You're allowed to go. I'm like, oh, I'm allowed to go. That's great.
Yeah.
But there's also a culture where there is no entertainment value. There is, but there's no reason to go to church unless you're either actually seeking or you are devoutly following Jesus. There is no like, yeah, I'll make myself feel better by going to church, or, oh, I should probably do this so I look better. No one has time for that. There's way better things to do in their mind, way more fun things, way more sensually pleasing. I don't mean that in a sexual way, but I mean in Portland.
Senses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every food you'd ever want, every outdoor activity you'd ever want, every club or culture or anything, Portland has it.
Yeah.
So if that is what you want to do, you are doing that.
Dude, honestly, you look like somebody who lived in Portland once.
Yeah, well, a lot of people said that, and that's why I got along with a lot of people from Portland so quickly. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, like, how, you know, obviously I was joking. I mean, I wasn't joking, but like, I wasn't trying to be mean when I said it, but it's also like such a cool ministry tool to like look like you belong in that like me. I have tattoos. I wear skinny jeans. Like I used to go to these like heavy metal concerts, and like skateboard and do all this stuff, and it all was a ministry opportunity. Like nobody's gonna, if a guy with a suit and tie and a briefcase went to like a skate park and like started talking to these kids, they'd be like, get away, you absolute idiot. You know?
Yep.
But like me, person that I think like that's why I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but like that's why I'm good for the junior boys small group leader, you know, like because I'm younger, but like I like the things that they like, and I dress the way that they dress and things like that, and it's just a relatable way. You know, there's some groups of the church where like I can see how it would be hard for the people in the group to get along and look up to their leaders whenever they look, sound, act nothing like them. You know, like I got to go to lunch yesterday with a kid in my group, and like we were like wearing basically the same outfit, and it's like,
you planned it.
Yeah, I totally planned it, bro.
There we go.
I was gonna say something, but it would come off as so creepy, and this is gonna be on the internet. So, but yeah, I mean, that's just it is cool to like be able to be in the middle of something that other people, like, you can minister in a way that other people can't minister because of you're covered in tattoos.
Yeah. No, it's super cool. I purposely plan that any tattoo that you can see if I'm like wearing a t-shirt all has to do with Jesus.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
there's a ton of other ones that mostly have to do with my family, but unless I'm wearing shorts at the gym, you won't see them.
Yeah.
Every time. And I would say, yeah, that's a huge pull into ministry is if they're like, kind of like you said, if I'm doing homeless ministry, the homeless guy's going to come up to me way quicker than he's going to come up to the dude that's wearing the button-up shirt.
Yeah.
And that's nothing against the guy that's wearing the button-up shirt. They just feel a stronger connection. That's okay.
Yeah.
On the flip side, I would say it's really hard for me to do ministry with people that have a more conservative, older age mentality.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I knew that going in, and it's my responsibility to act accordingly.
Yeah.
But I would say for the most part, it's.
But if you look
really
at
cool.
successful churches right now, they dress and act and preach the way that we do.
Yeah.
You know, and not that there's anything wrong with more like. I mean, I grew up in a conservative church where you had to wear dress clothes at church every time you were there. Like even on Thursdays, it was business casual. You know.
Yeah.
Like I know that's stupid, but
yeah.
And now like. Literally what I'm wearing a beanie, a hoodie, and joggers, and like I can wear this to church.
Which also, that's a huge church thing. Like as staff members, there's not a lot of other places where we're gonna get to dress like this,
dude.
Like if I had a secular job anywhere else, I would have to be wearing a uniform, and I am totally. Not.
And there's people that go to our church that dress up and don't look down on people that don't. Like I feel like if you were so stuck in your ways that you were scoffing at people that weren't dressed up, you wouldn't go to the church. But people do what they want to do, and that's totally fine. But like I want to be lazy, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I've never showed up in sweatpants and a pair of Birkenstocks, but
yeah,
I'm fine with a hoodie.
That's funny.
Yeah,
no, I mean the culture this probably sounds like a hype promotion for Grace Fellowship, but like I do like the culture at our church, and that we have the ability to, you know, walk in looking like this, and it like makes it a fun place to work.
Yeah. Super cool. Super fun.
Cool. All right. Well, we're going to have to take a quick break and we'll jump back in a minute.
And a hoppity skip.
Catch you on the flippity flip.
The flippity flop.
So this is normally the spot in the podcast where I stop and I tell you about Covenant Eyes and how they're designed to help you restore human connection, and they've helped tens of thousands of people get free from pornography, including myself, and all that is true. But this week, instead of reading a script, I want to actually tell you my story, a condensed version, raw, unedited. So I apologize if I stutter or say or anything like that, but just one take, I want to tell you about my story and how Covenant Eyes helped me. So about 2 years ago, I was severely addicted to pornography. I had been for 11 years. And I decided one day that I was tired of letting pornography ruin my life, ruin every relationship that I had been in. And I was just consumed by this addiction. And so I signed up. I put the software on my phone and my computer, and I signed up my friends as accountability partners. And the cool thing about Covenant Eyes is not only does it block the inappropriate stuff, but it also sends a weekly accountability to report to people that you choose. And I chose some people that just happened to be some of my brothers in Christ and people that I was asking to hold me accountable. And, you know, I don't want to just read a script. I want you to know that if you're struggling with an addiction to pornography and you need help, trying to do it on your own is not going to work. I tried it for far too long, and Covenant Eyes was the thing that helped me quit. It was the tool that God put in my life to help me quit. And that day that I signed up, I just quit cold turkey. And yeah, if you use code DREAMLOUD at checkout, you get 30 days for free. It's just a partnership thing that I have with Covenant Eyes where they are able to give you 30 days free when you use the code DREAMLOUD at checkout. And if you have any questions about Covenant Eyes or need clarity on anything, you can reach out to me on any platform that you find necessary, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. So use code DREAMLOUD at checkout at covenanteyes.com to get 30 days for free. All right, and just like that, we are back, sir.
Mm-hmm.
What a nice break that was.
I feel good.
Cool. I feel good.
Okay.
How was your day today? Okay.
No one's gonna understand that if you don't explain it.
We went to the gym earlier, and the guy who like checks you in or whatever was so robotic, and
Like he done it a time or two.
you have to talk to the microphone.
Like he done it a time or two.
Yeah, and he was just like, "Hi," and I was like, "Hey, this is my guest." He's like, "What is your name?" Tyler. Have a good workout. So like, beep, bum, boom, boom. Yeah, and that's basically it. And then the rest of the day, we were talking robotic to each other, and then we would say things, and the other person would say, "Okay," and that
was our whole day.
That's it. That's literally the story. So I'm glad that I took the time to explain that. Any like cool stories you got?
Cool stories. I don't know.
What is like? Okay, here I got you. What is your most meaningful tattoo that you have?
That's also a rough question. So here's one thing: I never get a tattoo just for the sake of getting one. I might have an urge to get one, but and no disrespect towards a person that just gets it for the value of the art. That's totally fine. Me personally, I have to have something to talk about when I put it on.
A deep connection.
Yeah, just an emotional, deep connection.
Yes, just soak in me, Lord. Heavenly Father, shut up.
I don't know. I'll just go with the newest one because it just skips from that one. It's the one that's on my palm.
You can show it to that camera.
Or this one. This one.
And?
I got it, 2-3 months ago?
Yeah.
But it's a moth. And so.
Like Moths to Flames, the band? You don't know, do you?
No, not at all.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, not even close. But I got it because I had this perpetual fear of being burnt out all the time, and trying to conserve energy to do so. And I had always ruled my life as if there was this energy bar, and I was afraid to get too low and then not be able to take care of myself or other people, not realizing that honestly wasn't even the thing that was the problem with me. The issue that I had was feeling like I was misunderstood or not known. And so there was this point where I had to say, I can't just sit in the dark anymore, and I need to walk into the light. And if I want to dance in a way that people see how my life looks with Jesus, I'm going to have to get over the fear of being burnt out, which is that is not the reason that moths do it, but they get attracted to every flame that's even close to them. So I did that in a way where I had that, and then the wings kind of look like fingers, which was a thing where I had always, there's nail beds on the top, but
nice.
There had always been this way of me that I was always closed-handed to things, and which I just couldn't be anymore. And I had to every day start to wake up and open up my hands and say, Jesus, this day is yours. Like, it's not mine. It's not mine to fear what's going to happen. It's not mine to conserve it. It's mine to hit the pillow at the end of the day and say, like, I tried and pushed hard. Like, I want to finish the race well, not just try to finish the race.
Dang, that's good.
So, yeah.
Second favorite.
This one comes in handy a lot. My fingers.
You're handy?
Handy.
Is that a pun?
Hey-yo.
Is that a pun?
Boom. It can be now because it totally makes sense. My fingers say love them. And I got that when I was doing some studies for some manuscript writing I was doing in college. And so I was researching different preachers and how they build their talks and why they do it and what they tell themselves before they get on stage. And so Francis Chan has this list of like 8 to 10 things he always goes over before he actually walks out up to the pulpit. And one of the things he always asks himself is, do you even love them? Because Francis Chan, out of anyone, he's like, I can make a person cry, like I can tell a good story, and it's not because I think I'm better than other people. It's just because I have a ton of practice and I know what good communication looks like. And if I don't love the audience and want them to hear a message that's deeply moving me, then I don't need to be up there and they don't need to hear me.
Dang, dude,
and
that's
so
freaking good.
I've done that in my life forever. And so I take this to where I sit at a table across from someone in a coffee shop and I say, do you love them? Because I see my fingers all the time. Because I can tell them whatever they want to make them feel good, and I can say whatever I want to make them like me more. But what do I need to do to love people well and be uncomfortable or push that person or go to that place?
I thought it was like a love them, as in like people that use the pronoun they, them.
No, that is not what it is at all.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry. That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, sure.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I mean, nobody listens to this podcast to hear what I have to say, but I've got some tatties.
Yes, you do.
I got some tatties. And mine are meaningless. So
No, they're not.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way. You do not just have
I just showed up and said, put something on me.
It was like, do not even care what you get. Just clock in 5 hours, make me pay for it.
Yeah, my like most meaningful one is probably this one here.
The script or
the serpent.
Yeah.
It's a snake wrapped around an apple, and I got this tattoo when I was still in the midst of like an 11-year porn addiction, and I got it as a kind of something that I could look at and say, I need to get better. And now it's something that's like, it's a, one of those unique things of that we were talking about before, where you can use it as a ministry opportunity. Like when people ask about it, and that's just where I can tell people where I was addicted to porn for 11 years. It was I had perverted spirits around me, and it was something that I dealt with, and God literally reached out, and like the best analogy is like I was drowning, I was miserable, but God reached down and pulled me out of the water. And one day I just decided I wanted to get better, and yeah, so it's crazy. It's crazy like how porn is so manipulative and controlling. Like
then more into than just that area of your life, but it starts to spiral everything around it.
Yeah. I mean, when I was in the midst of this porn addiction, I couldn't love people. Like I could not be in a serious relationship because it was all about lust and hooking up and doing things that I shouldn't do with someone I wasn't married. Not just sex, but other things. It was that, and like I just couldn't on emotional connection. And I know now it was God trying to save me, but from being in a relationship that I shouldn't have. But it's ironic, the first relationship that I'm in when I'm not addicted to porn, the most godly woman that I've ever dated in my life is now my wife. And it's crazy how that can be like a ministry opportunity to tell people all of that deep stuff that I just told you.
Yeah.
Seriousness makes me very uncomfortable. So So cool. Well, let's do some conversation starters. Okay. How about that? We'll get into that. We've got about 15 or so minutes before we gotta jump off. But
all right, how you starting this conversation? What's the conversation starter?
You're a barista.
I am.
Tell me about it.
I am a barista now. I've been a barista before.
What's it like?
What is it like? It is early.
You make coffee for people.
Yeah, I take coffee beans, I change it, I put water around it or through it of different consistencies, and I hand the coffee to a person.
Isn't it weird that coffee is just hot bean water?
Yeah, you don't ever say here's your bean water because people don't like that.
You should though.
Well, because that's what coming.
That's what it is.
That'd be bad.
I mean, tell the truth. You want to lie to people or not?
I'll tell you this: I didn't drink coffee when I started becoming a barista, which that's not good for an interview. But that you just
is
don't
barista a feminine, like in Spanish? Should it be barista? Should you be a
Baristo?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think you should. From the rest of this conversation, please say baristo instead of.
I'm a barista bro.
Barista bro. Yeah, I like it. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I'm still probably not used to the fact that you have to wake up at like 4:30 in the morning and get there before people wake up to get to their job. But you get used to it.
Serve that hot bean water, bubs.
And then all the rest of the stories are just customer service stories in general. Yeah. But it's not people's fault that they don't know stuff about coffee, especially when Starbucks is taking over the world. So,
dude, hot take, Starbucks blows.
That's not a hot take. That's a smart take.
Dude, Starbucks is not that good. It's so expensive. I can for a fraction of the cost, I could go to Dunkin' Donuts and get way better coffee.
I will say Dunkin' Donuts though, you don't know what you're getting ever.
Not true.
Yes, it is. If
Not
you're
the
like,
one,
I'd like cream and sugar, that thing can come out pitch black or white as snow. You don't know what they're going to pour.
The one up before you get on 270, up, like not the one in Stone Ridge Plaza, but down Hamilton Road more before you get on 270.
Okay.
I say, can I have a hot extra large coffee with 2 cream? And every single time it tastes the exact same.
Well, good for them. I would say that is not a thing that I've done.
I mean, even Starbucks though, like their coffee's never consistent. Sometimes I get a good caramel macchiato.
I would say it's not coffee. What people are ordering, even if you're ordering like
it's just sugar, just warm sugar.
Even if you're getting the stuff with like pumps of whatever, if you're doing pumpkin spice, if you're doing cold foam with some kind of flavoring, like at that point, it doesn't matter anymore. So yeah, I'm in the pour over snob stage.
I mean, pour over. If you get a good coffee that you like, some good beans that you can warm up and pour water into. I don't know. I just like that analogy so much. If you find the right stuff, like you don't need cream and sugar.
No, you don't. And I would say it's built up. No, I don't think there's a lot of people that drink coffee for the first time. Like, wow, this is amazing. You build into it.
Yeah.
I forced myself to because I was up at 4:30 in the morning and there was coffee in front of me, so I started drinking it until I liked it.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste too.
Yeah,
like drinking it black.
If you don't.
Like the coffee that we're gonna shoot that promo video for Script by Sonder.
Yeah.
That is one coffee that I can drink without cream or sugar.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
But you also, it's the way you prepare it. So like if you that's why like a pot of coffee sucks, because it's basically coffee going into a glass and being warmed by a hot plate and it gets all burnt. But if you use like
imagine all the coffees that coffee pot has been with before. And then you put your coffee
of a coffee pot
in that coffee.
But like a pour over or a Chemex or like a French press, like if you do it right, what is that one coffee thing called?
I wish I could help you, but you just.
It's like it's like you put. Jeremiah has one in his office. It's like a little round.
It's a tube, and you can press it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a
what
French
is it
press,
called?
is it?
No.
It's something else. It's the plastic one.
No. My friend Josh showed me. Josh, what is it? What is it called? Tell me. Anyway, it's some of the best coffee that it's a tube with like a filter, like a round filter that you put in there, and it's got these holes, and you heat up the water, you pour it in, you mix it up for like 30 seconds, and then it like works like a French press, but it's like it's just different. It's really good. So yeah,
really
it's
nice.
So the result is Starbucks sucks.
Yeah, it does.
I can get better tasting coffee for cheaper. Even the black coffee at Dunkin' tastes way better than Starbucks. Fix it, Starbucks.
I don't think anyone ever says, I go to Starbucks for the coffee. People just go to Starbucks for something else. No, I mean, one, it's probably easier. Two, they're not getting... No one goes to like Starbucks and is like, I love their black coffee. No one's ever said that in their entire life.
It sucks,
you go to Starbucks because you like their Frappuccinos. That's why you go to Starbucks.
That's true.
I go to Starbucks because I go and get their nitro brew or their pumpkin spice latte.
I will say their nitro cold brew with sweet cream is pretty good.
Okay, don't start this now. You have to hate them like they're the end.
Okay, dude, they suck, bro.
Yeah, hey,
but like, I can buy a big old thing at Costco for $15 of Dunkin' that is gonna last me weeks. I put it in my coffee maker. I set the timer, even though I hate pour over coffee or I hate drip coffee.
Yeah,
it's still way cheaper. And that's all I have to say about
coffee from a Bob Evans or a Waffle House is better than the coffee from Starbucks,
bro.
Waffle House, you crave it. You just crave a crappy diner coffee.
White Castle.
I didn't even know White Castle.
Bro,
has
I'm telling
coffee.
you,
you get coffee with their sliders. You think that makes it go down?
They have
better?
breakfast stuff. If you go, like, dude, I'm telling you, next time I'm
is
gonna
there even
see
a White Castle in Columbus?
Dude,
oh yeah, there is. There's one by UA.
Whatever.
It's right up the street.
Either way, White Castle coffee is really good. Dude, Chick-fil-A coffee is good too.
Never had coffee from Chick-fil-A either.
Their just regular black coffee. It's tasty.
It's bee's knees.
All right, next controversial thing.
Oh, I already planned it out. I loathe camping. I think camping is one of the worst things you can possibly do ever.
But why?
It's horrible. Okay, so here's my shot at camping. it would be extremely fun to not have electricity, eat food that is of less quality than any other food that you can get, sleep in a place where it is not temperature controlled, be put in an area with a space that is smaller than other areas that you could choose, and being in the outdoors for an extended period of time. That all sucks. That's all terrible. We spent hundreds of years trying to never have to do that again.
Don't you
and
think
now we're
there's
just reverting back to it again.
But don't you think there's something manly about...
No, I don't care. I don't need that card. I don't want to do that. Do you think I like sleeping like sweaty and gross and just
I don't
not
know what you
bathing
like.
for a long
I don't know what you like. I'm not
yeah.
you.
I'm fine with an outdoors day. I'm fine with a hike. I'm fine with fishing. I don't want to be out there forever. And glamping isn't camping, so those are two separate things. You just have a house on wheels. That's fine.
I like camping though. What about in a camper?
Well, even that's, I don't know. That's like the in between. That's like middle class camping. I don't know. Probably still no.
Dude, we had a camper growing up, and it was pretty dope.
That's probably another thing. Every camping experience for me has been the worst.
Well, we're gonna take you on a good camping trip.
Wow. Well, now
now you probably won't. You probably won't. You probably won't like it. No, there's something about fishing, like, and making your own food. And
if I want to play Survivor, I'd sign up. But I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll agree to disagree.
Okay, it's fine. That's why it's controversial.
I don't care. I don't care what you think. I'm not gonna not hang out with you anymore because you don't like camping.
Well, I hope not, because that's really bad. Okay, so then what is yours? What do you think is controversial that you believe?
I mean, the fact that Starbucks sucks, I think, is a big one.
I don't think that'll offend as many people as you think it will.
Dude, honestly, like, I can't talk about that. I'll tell you off air after that one, because I can't talk about that on here. But fart. I don't know. Festivals aren't that fun.
Festivals here aren't that fun. Festivals on the West Coast are awesome.
I mean, I've been to like 3 ever.
It really
like
depends on where you're at.
Warped Tour was a fun experience. I only went once. I went the last year that Warped Tour existed.
Well, that's probably why it sucked.
But like it
was on the downhill grind.
It was a good experience, but that was the last one I went to.
Do fairs count as festivals? There is nothing better than rolling into a state fair.
Dude,
and
I
just
love
watching the people come out of the woodwork that you would never see the rest of the year.
Maybe it's just like I don't like being close to people.
I don't
Not
either.
emotionally, but I mean, I don't like to be close to people
that's what
emotionally.
I was gonna say.
But yeah, I don't know.
Well, it depends. If it's like it's the strawberry festival, I'm like, okay, I like strawberries, but I don't need to spend 5 hours doing strawberry things.
Yeah,
that festival sucks. The county fair, it's amazing. People watch for hours.
Dude, besides Disney, I'm not a huge amusement park guy.
I'm not either. Well, Disney is more of an experience park.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But yeah, I'm all about it. Too,
like Kings Island.
I'm out of the phase, man. I've been to we live right by it. I've been to Kings Island 50 times. I'm done now.
It could be because I also worked at Kings Island too.
That is absolutely why you believe.
I bet it. Like you don't poop where you eat, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I do,
and they do at Kings Island. So
yeah, they do. Honestly, I can say from experience that people poop where they eat.
Yeah.
What like fads were you into? Like, were you ever into like skateboarding or anything?
Dude, I'll give you a rough fad I was in. In middle school, the Live Strong band phase, which transitioned into the Silly band phase.
Dude, Silly bands.
I had so many on my arms, it was weighing my back down.
Silly bands, and then
dude.
Holy moly.
You remember those?
Holy moly. I like forgot.
They'd be all scrunched up. You didn't know what it was, and then you just let it go.
I never paid for one. I never paid for one.
No, me neither. I
always got them for my friends.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not going to pay for a pack of 20. Just take them for your friend.
Dude, I got in trouble in elementary school for like soliciting because me and my brother, we would go to the dollar store and buy a pack of 50 pixie sticks.
Okay.
You know pixie sticks,
I understand.
And I would sell them for like 25 cents a piece to my friends at school. And I got in trouble. I also got in trouble for bringing a knife to school.
That's totally different.
It was way different. I was in first grade and like my stepdad at the time got me a Swiss Army knife. It was like one of those little like round ones that have like
Sure.
the crappy scissor.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't have actually hurt anybody with it, but I like my friend. I was like, hey, guess what? I got a knife, and I like showed it to him, and he told the
It's like
teacher.
this big.
He told the teacher, and I get the principal's office, and my parents laughed about it.
The only time I went to the principal's office was in the 7th grade because I told the teacher I threw my gum out and I lied, and she watched me chew my gum, and she found out I lied, so then I had to go to detention for it.
Yeah.
That's how clean of a record I had in high school.
Dude, my mom used to date who was my 5th grade teacher. Before her and my
when
dad
you were
got
in the
to-
5th grade?
No.
That would have been way worse.
That would have been way worse.
Yeah.
Mr. Lewis, old Tim Lewis, probably one of the best teachers I've ever had in my life.
Because he was dating your mom, or?
No, he was not dating my mom at the time. Before my mom and my dad, I think even. But that was like fun to know whenever you were in the 5th grade and like you used to date. They met at like church camp or something.
Gotcha.
So, which is where she also met my dad and her first husband. So,
Nice.
Mom, stop going to church camps.
Church camp, yeah. We
all I
all
have to
know
say.
church camp. That's the place to be.
Yeah. Did you like going to concerts at all? Like whenever we could go to concerts?
I used to go to a ton. I mean, the music I listen to is actually probably similar to the music you listen to. I just don't anymore. So there's a ton of pop punk and metal
Dude,
and
pop punk.
screamo and stuff. And then once I went into college, I don't know why, but I just kind of phased out of it. But like my favorite band in high school was A Day to Remember.
Yes.
And they always had the concert where he would get into like a hamster wheel looking thing and roll over the crowd. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And those concerts, they were also scary. Like there was a concert I went to where
Dude, you were afraid to get punched in the nose.
Well, yeah, but there was one time when they like duct taped a dude. So they like duct taped his hands to his body and his feet, and they just threw him out onto the floor, and he wasn't moving. And I was like, this is a very scary concert. I didn't know if they were faking it or not, but I'm like, I don't feel comfortable anymore.
At Warped Tour, do you know who Attack Attack is?
Yep.
So now Attack Attack is Beartooth.
Beartooth, yeah.
And they were playing, Beartooth and Silverstein were playing together,
Also a band.
which
that's
was
good.
freaking amazing experience. And this guy, there was this girl who like, they were like all working out, and this guy kept running up to this girl and walking around and like spinning her around. And he did it like 5 times, and finally on the last time, she projectile vomited
That's
as
exactly
she
what I
was
was
going.
gonna think you were gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always rough.
Yeah.
But not so much anymore.
What's the best concert that you've ever been to?
It was probably that A Day to Remember concert. And here's why it was the best. Because A Day to Remember was not the main show. It was Rage Against the Machine. So, which I didn't give a crap about at the time.
Yeah. Was this like Rock on the Range or something?
No, it was literally just, there was like another band before them, and then it was A Day to Remember. It was at Kent State.
Huh. Interesting.
That day sucked. I got 2 tickets in 24 hours for my terrible driving. Anyway, that's another story. To that concert and then from that concert. And so it was like where they would have a concert at Kent State. And I would say 3/4 of the crowd left when Rage Against the Machine started.
They went there for A Day to Remember.
Yeah, that was it. And they rolled out.
Dang.
So that was kind of cool.
Did you ever go to the Underground in Cincinnati? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What used to be Forest Fair Mall.
Yep.
The first concert I ever went to was there, and it was Skillet, Decipher Down, and 1,000 Foot Crutch.
Woo!
Yeah, dude, what a bop that was. And then that was the first concert I've been to, and I actually got to play on that stage a couple times too with some other bands that I was in. That was like whenever I was in a band, that was like, okay, we need to practice we need to get this set tight, and we want to play in front of 10 people.
Yeah.
So we would go to the Underground. And then the best concert I've ever been to was For Today's farewell tour. And it was For Today, Memphis Mayfire, Gideon, The Word Alive, and Upon a Burning Body.
Those are like all pretty quality people.
Yeah. I mean, Upon a Burning Body was like a satanic band, which was...
Well, I meant like musically talented.
But like...
Not personally.
That's where I got introduced to Gideon, which I listen to them all the time when I'm working out. But yeah, that was the best show I've ever been to, because For Today is one of my all-time favorite bands. It was their farewell tour, and I had never seen them live. You know who I want to see live though is Paramore. But like, if I could go back in time and go to like 2005, Paramore,
I was gonna say you're not gonna get him at the peak.
2008
anymore.
Paramore, yeah, Paramore. I'm sorry, but your new music is just not good. That could be a hot take. But
once
like,
again, I don't know, but
the Riot album and the Brand New Eyes album, I think is what it's called. Best 2 albums. Now just stop. Like play the old music again. or stop playing. Like out. Fall Out Boy. What are you doing?
They sold out, dude. It's over.
It just sucks. Which ironically, Fall Out Boy and Paramore are on the same label. So you tell me.
Yeah.
But yeah. Any bands that are like that you just don't like that people are obsessed over?
I hate Taylor Swift.
Dude, Taylor Swift sucks.
That's probably a very controversial hot take.
I mean, I don't really like country music anyway, but like
she doesn't do country music anymore.
I know.
That was her first album or two.
That was
it. That face was gone.
Yeah, dude. Taylor Swift is not good. She's not a quality human. She just sucks. Like be better, you know? That's what I'm trying to say. Just be better.
That makes me feel so much better. Yeah. I already had a couple tiffs about it with people at work, but I just don't like Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Like what the only
I have another probably controversial. I don't really like Eminem either, which means I don't really like NF. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying they suck. They're not talented. I just do not enjoy them at all.
I was never allowed to listen to rap, so I inherently don't like rap. Like I really try to like rap.
Of like, any sort? Like popular rap that's not like...
I mean, I do enjoy NF. I wouldn't like listen to him all the time. And like I like Logic.
Okay.
But
that's it.
The 2 whitest rappers ever.
Nice.
But like I don't know. I wasn't allowed to listen to it growing up. And I mean, I wasn't allowed to listen to metal either, but I listened to that all the time. Yeah, I just was not allowed to listen to rap growing up, and therefore by association just not into it. So
why I'm laughing right now is I remember, because you're like, I wasn't allowed to listen to this, I wasn't allowed to listen to that. When I was really young, catch this, back when Nickelback was still cool, when people would still say that Nickelback was cool, before everyone was like, yeah, you're right, Nickelback sucked. We all know we listened to Nickelback and thought they were cool for a little bit before everyone was like, yeah, you're right, they suck. I was buying songs, this is how old I am, buying songs on iTunes for $1 each because I'm an idiot and I didn't just torrent it or rip it from somewhere.
That's hilarious.
And I had to go to my dad and print off the lyrics, and I'm like, yeah, Dad, it says this very minor cuss word and this very minor cuss word. Is that okay? And he'd be like, I don't know, son, that's really bad, but I love you a lot, so you can listen to that song. So,
dude, remember like LimeWire and Napster?
Oh, they were the best. They also would destroy any technological device you had if you weren't careful.
Yeah, dude, that sucked. So many viruses. Like, I'm sorry, Mom, if you're listening, but the reason that our old desktop computer went bad is probably...
That was all you, baby.
I can't say I'm positive, but I'm pretty sure it's probably a virus from me, like, illegally downloading music back in the day.
Nice.
Yeah. Good times. Dude, you just don't get... Like, I always think they don't make movies like they used to anymore, even. Like, they make good movies, but, like...
Explain yourself.
Like Mike. I watched that the other day. Did you ever watch that movie?
Sure, but I'm not like, hey, let's watch Like Mike.
But they just don't make movies like that, is what I'm saying. Like, they make good movies, but like...
I think your sense of nostalgia is gone, so you can't relate like that anymore.
No.
Yeah.
I'm telling you no.
Okay.
I'm telling you that's not
Okay, well, I'm telling you I don't agree. That's all I'm saying.
You can not agree, but I'm telling you you're wrong.
Okay.
That's funny.
So nothing like Mike.
Yeah, they just don't make movies like that.
What do you mean by they don't make it like that? What is
like,
how is like Mike that they don't ever make a movie like that ever?
I just don't feel like they make those like feel good. I don't know. There's just not a movie that stands out in my life like that.
You've been watching a lot of movies lately, or?
Dude, I watch movies all the time.
Yeah, so do I. That's why
I watch too many movies. I don't know. This is probably a good place to end, though. Especially because my camera just stopped recording.
Oh,
so,
that's cool.
Probably. I mean, we're about at an hour anyway, with
fine.
ads and everything. So, dude, that second half was pretty loaded.
I could keep going all day.
Yeah.
You pop off the questions.
How about we'll bring you back on after?
I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah. Dude, this is fun. Or we could just start our own podcast, to be honest.
I've podcasted before, so
yeah.
I'm well into it.
If you're listening, which only like 40 people listen to my podcast.
For the 6 people that listen to this in the next 5 years.
If you enjoy this podcast enough you think that Tyler and I should just create our own podcast.
Don't listen to the first 4 minutes of awkwardness. Judge me after that.
I mean, it sometimes it takes a minute to get this.
Sometimes I just talk like that in general. That's why I only have 6 friends.
If you think that me and Tyler should just start our own podcast, just tell us.
All right, Mom and his 3 friends.
Our moms.
You tell us.
Our moms.
Should we start a podcast?
I'm sure Zach's probably listening to this. So shout out to Zach Cochran, who was dude. Why can't I talk? A guest before, and probably my brothers maybe are listening to this, and then like our friends of the church are maybe still listening, maybe.
Gotten this far into it at least.
Yeah. If you have listened to this
whole thing
this far,
God bless you.
God bless you for one, and two, let's confuse the people in the comments. I want you to put pumpernickel bread in the comments. Just type the word pumpernickel bread, and that's it. If you're still listening, and we're gonna end it there. Thanks for listening.